Let me make sure we're going to perfect. Nick's way ahead of me. We're already on here. So, Nick and I were talking, and happy Monday to everybody as we're kind of these virtual calls to kind of kick the week off and just kind of reset, tweak a couple things here and there, and just continue to set ourselves up for success. The rest of the week, the rest of the month, and to close the rest of 2024 out. But Nick and I were talking about a couple specific things that I thought would be helpful on this call, just to kind of play back because I have a all of my life insurance basically has only been done virtually. Some of you maybe are hybrid. Some of you maybe are just brand new trying to figure out, is something virtual I want to do. Some of you, that's all you want to be able to do is do virtually. And there's a lot of differences from, at least looking at, maybe what I've done completely virtually versus what I hear stories of people that do completely in person. And so I wanted to just very specifically, just kind of pull the curtain back to, here's kind of what a schedule looks like. Here's, when I'm doing calls. Because, for those of you that do in person, you'll hear people say things like, hey, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I do my dials. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in the home from those appointments I set on Monday and Wednesday. And, like there's very specific. And I feel like with virtual, you can kind of just flop in the wind a little bit where if you don't have a plan, you might feel like you're being more productive than you are. And then, I also feel like a kind of a glaring hole in virtual is what to do for a lead budget, for a lead schedule, and what to do just even overall, both in person and virtual can fall into this, but what to do with reinvesting sales and profits and deposits back into your business. So those are a couple things that I want to cover. To start with, from a schedule standpoint, if people have specific questions for those of you on here now, I know people will listen to this in a video later, but what is it if you guys have something that you're wondering schedule-wise? If you have a specific question on like, hey, when should I do this? Or how should I do that? If you have any of those that come up, throw them into the chat. I'll look at those as we go through here too. But what I try to do, so, you wait, for me, it's 9:04 a.m. here in Phoenix. And so I've already started doing some of my schedule. I try to get into the office about 8:30, and then I work till 5, and I try to do that Monday through Friday. I might do a little bit here and there on Saturday. For me, for the most part, that's just spending time with family. I try to have a hard cutoff pretty close to 5 personally, and then that's my family time and stuff. So one, do you guys have a clue what your schedule is? Because if you just kind of wake up and go into it when you want to, you don't really know when you're trying to stay, especially virtually sitting at your own house, if you don't have a schedule to stick to, it can be a little challenging on what you're getting done, what you're getting accomplished. So I would encourage all of us, on here, first of all, figure out, well, how many hours a week do I have? Okay, so if I have 10 hours a week to put into this, well, which 10 hours is it? What days? And do it the same every week. If you have 50 hours to put into it, which 50 hours are you doing? And start to get some of that stuff consistent day after day, week after week. So, know when you're trying to get into your office, which for me is rolling over here, with my dog Jet the Doodle and calling in our, one side of our house's, spare bedroom. Or what are you trying to get accomplished? So when, have a time frame of what you're trying to do, and then try to stick to that week by week. For me, though, the very first thing I'm doing, and again, being on the West Coast, that kind of works in my advantage too. Maybe it's a little different for those of you on the East Coast, but I'll try to get my boring follow-up things done right away. So, for example, wearing the Transamerica shirt on purpose. If you've written any Transamerica term, you know that sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. I end up writing a whole bunch of Transamerica term with some of the different, like ethos leads and things that I've worked in the past. Or if you're dealing with a lot of younger people and stuff, sometimes you end up doing that. Well, one thing that I know is, okay, I have to follow up on several things, usually for, hey, did the client did this? Did I tell the insurance company now we're doing this? And so when you have pending policies and kind of like, I'd call it BS admin work, try to get those done not during your peak calling hours. So first we have to know, like I told you, okay, let's say I'm trying to work from 8:30 to 5. Well, I'm trying, in the very beginning to knock out the boring admin stuff. I don't want to randomly do that at, 2 p.m. I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can, or if I can ever even get in the office sooner than my calling hours, That's when I want to get the admin stuff done. So I'm calling, checking in on what's going on with the policy, or, hey, confirming, let's charge this, whatever BS stuff you have to do. If you see you had a charge back, call in and find out what happened, but try to get all that stuff done as fast as you can. So I'm trying to get that stuff done the first few minutes that I get in the office. I'm tracking, hey, I just got paid on these two policies. Let me make sure I mark this. Let me make sure I had their application saved. If you're not saving your client's applications, you're shooting yourself in the foot for a variety of reasons. But one of the biggest ones is a year later, you can come back and sometimes get them something even better and get paid all over again. But if you're not tracking, what's going on when they, had gotten started, make sure you have their application or, whatever notes you took so you can look back and know what you're talking about. Those are the kind of things I'm doing right away. So like for me, I just got paid on two policies this morning. I went right away and I wrote those down. I had a client that was canceling a crappy Globe policy and getting ours that's starting on the 10th instead. So I shot a quick call and follow up of, hey, just making sure that went okay. A lot of times I'll call to help cancel that with that specific one. I coached her what to do because I didn't have time and I was just making sure she did. So just these little admin things are the very first part of my day. Things that could mess up my policy. If that person kept their Globe one and I didn't follow up to make sure that they canceled that, now they might come to me later this week and go, "Oh, I forgot to cancel. Can you, can you wait another month for ours to start?" So I do everything to remove obstacles to make sure my policies are going to stay on the books. What I got to do talking to the insurance companies to push them through, or just whatever stuff. That's the very first stuff I try to knock out. And not taking hours of time, just try to get quick 20 minutes of that kind of stuff done. Now you move into your calls. So figure out, well, what new leads do you have? Call the newest leads first. Call through them, several times, obviously. And now I'm going into my peak dialing times. So throughout the day, that's what I'm trying to get done, especially on a Monday. But I'm also looking back. Sometimes my Mondays will be, well, what did I do, Thursday, Friday that maybe got pushed into Monday? So a lot of times my Mondays will have several people that kind of maybe miss my appointment on Friday or something, or, talk to him midweek, oh, catch me next week. And so I'm always trying to reschedule and get those on the book. So I'm checking my calendar going, okay, what do I have here? I got, I'm looking today on my calendar, I have 3 different people I got to recircle back with. So I'm getting those done, but I'm also, getting into my new calls because the amount of new dials that you make obviously is just going to be the new lifeblood to what's going on. Now, throughout the week, as you're calling, I don't have a specific day. Monday, it's not Mondays are just dial days. I'm calling, and then every time I'm doing it, I usually virtually I'm always doing a 2-call close. So I'm calling, doing my first calls, and then setting my second calls for that almost the same time that following day, or I'll try to move them into the next morning or something like that. So now I'm calling. For example, today on Monday, which is what I'm going to be doing of new leads, just putting another 16 new ones off. I have another 30 some that actually probably closer to 50 some that I have only maybe called once to twice. Those are what I'm personally calling through today of new stuff. And then I'm trying to get those set into Tuesday report of findings of those call twos. Now, the ones that don't answer like that, I'm going to keep calling tomorrow again. So it's always a combination each day through my work week of call ones and call twos. It's mixed in. If I have enough call twos to do, I don't have to call any new call ones. If I have absolutely nothing going on, I got to go grind out and get some new call ones. In fact, I was looking, another thing that I do is I track how many dials I make each day, both of follow-ups and new. And let me come back and give you an interesting thing here. So if I go back to let's see, is it the 16th? Yeah, let's go back. So the 16th of September, didn't make any sales. 17th of September, didn't make any sales, but I made, I don't know, 150-ish dials probably between those 2 days for sure into the next day. Well, then on the 18th, I put 2 apps in. Then on the 19th, I put 1 app in. Then on the 20th, I put 2 apps in. And I'm looking here like and I'll track these different dials. Like on Monday and Tuesday when I put nothing in, those are the most dials I made the whole week. And then into Wednesday, a ton of dials as well, where I got 2 apps in. And those 3 days, ton of dials. And I can almost guarantee, looking at this, none of those came from the 2 applications I put in. None of them came from those. But because I made more dials than normal, into Thursday and even Friday, I put 2 apps in and I only called 8 new people because now I had enough follow-ups where that filled up most of my day. Then you go into the next week, that following Monday, 4 applications went in. Then 1 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, none on Friday the 27th. Then he went into last week of Monday, two apps in, last Monday, then one app, then two apps, then one app, then one app. So like my point is, if you have enough people to talk to and you're mixing these call ones and call twos in, some days you might feel like, and I remember 2.5 weeks ago feeling like, dude, I grinded this 8 to 5 out 2 different days and had nothing to show for it. But then I don't think I missed an application, the next 2 weeks in a row, Monday through Friday, always putting at least one application in. So you got to stay consistent and keep a mix in. If you got to spend an entire day just trying to call new leads, you do what you got to do. And if you have nothing to show for it, all those dials you're putting in today, if that's you with these new leads, maybe it doesn't show till Wednesday or next Monday, but your applications that start going in is because you stayed consistent every single day making those calls. And so I'm tracking that so I can look back, because I looked at those numbers 2 weeks ago and go, man, that's frustrating. Look how many people I called and had nothing to show for it. But then I fast forward the next 2 weeks and go, I guess there is a good amount to show for it. So stay consistent. Don't worry about like, hey, this day has to be these calls. You just make enough dials, make a goal. If your goal is to call, make $100 or $150 or $200, whatever your goal is, try to get to that goal regardless of how you get there. Now, if you only got to 30 dials, but you put two applications in, great. But if you only make 30 dials, for 2 weeks in a row, and you look and you've only sold two applications, well, now you can kind of link the two together. So keep yourself busy. The key is, though, you're calling whatever that time is. Like I told you, for me, it's about 8:30 to 5. I'm trying to stay consistent, getting as much done, squeeze as many applications in as I can. That's what my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is looking like. Now, when I get burnt out, either at the end of the afternoon or on Fridays, that's where I'm trying to mix in, how can I squeeze one more easy sale? And a great example I was sharing with Nick, I think it happened early, maybe it was 2 Fridays ago, or 2 Thursdays ago. So I had about, so I know I'm quitting at 5, but human nature kicks in at 4 o'clock where I'm like, yeah, maybe it'd be really easy to like, if my wife or daughter say one little thing to me that, hey, let's do this or that, it'd be really easy for me to bolt at 4:15 instead of 5. And I do my best not to do that. Does it happen sometimes? Yes. But, try to stick to your schedule. So I have this goal. Okay, it's like 4:15. I'm burnt out. I don't want to call any more of these new people. I'm annoyed. Okay, let me see what I can do to squeeze something else out. So that's where I pull up my ghosted ones, because I told you we do 2 call closes. So I do all these call ones. That leads to I'm supposed to follow up and tell people on call two what they can qualify for. And it's either people that I never even got to tell what happened yet, or I tell them and then they try to push me off to let me think about it, go talk to my spouse, blah 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 blah, all these reasons to kick me off the phone. So I got to circle back with them for a third call, and now they don't get on the phone with me. So all these people that are going into witness protection, that's when I like to pull those ones out. So if I have 45 minutes left in the day, instead of me making more new dials, if I'm kind of burnt out or I got a few jerks on the phone and they've annoyed me, okay, now let me mix it up. So let me take this, this ghosted pile, and let me just see if I can get somebody to pick up. Because chances are, if I got this, and I mean, geez, guys, let me show you. This is just in the last couple of weeks of my ghosted people. I mean, so it happens. Like I told you all those sales I made, and that might sound great. Like, wow, he's making at least one sale a day. Well, yeah, but look how many people I still need to try to get. So you got to have enough leads to talk to, if you're sitting here trying to close the same 3 people, it's not the same game. You have to have enough new people to talk to, and continue to have enough new leads coming in. But now I got all these people, and I got 45 minutes left in the day. Let me try to call one of them, because if one of them answers, which great example, this happened to me, got a guy who had missed me 3 or 4 different times. Just kind of went direct to the point. Hey, here's what we talked about. Here's what we can do. Would that be helpful? And bam, sure, why not? You finally catch the person. They go, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And that led to $1,000 commission. Well, all I did was try to make it a game. So if you're getting burnt out and you should still be working a little longer, go back to the ones that kind of, you never got a hold of. Because what's even more exciting to me than calling a brand new lead, or especially more exciting to me than calling somebody who I've already tried to call, 5 or 10 different days and they've never answered, is calling the person that all I got to do is get them pick up the phone, retell them, remind them, hey, here's what we can do. And then they go, all right, yep, let's do it. Or, all right, yeah, I was busy last week. Well, yeah, go ahead. I got 10 minutes now. Let's start the application. And so just that last hour of the day, try to squeeze something in. Also on Fridays, what I'll do is I'll then, for those of you that have been doing this for over a year, I'll come back on Fridays now. And I just started doing this the last couple of weeks. And usually I'm making one, close to one sale off of it, is I'll look back, 13, 14 months ago. So I've already got paid my 9 month advance. I've already got months 10, 11, and 12. And now we're well into year two. Some of these policies I don't even get paid on ever again. But I'm re-reviewing. Well, what happened here? Why did we go the route we did? I'm calling and checking in on the clients. Hey, it's been about a year. Just wanted to touch base. But my line to every one of them is, you staying out of trouble. So I call Mallory up. And, hey, Mallory, it's David, your life insurance guy. Happy Friday. You staying out of trouble, young lady? I'm just make the same stupid joke every time. And then just, hey, just want to touch base with you. I told you make sure you always have someone to talk to. I'm not going to throw you to the 1-800 number. And then I'm just going to start fishing for a few different things. I'm going to fish for hey, is the policy, is the amount you're paying, is that still comfortable? And I might throw in a little, I know inflation's really beating some people up. Some people get really fired up about that. Maybe that's a reason of, hey, we need to take you from $100 a month down to 75 a month. So let's just cut the coverage down and go with another company. That would be a very valid reason to go move them out of a policy. I'm going to look at why we went with the policy we did. Did they have a health issue? Did they have a stent that was put in a year and a half ago and now it's been 2.5 years? Well, that might open up a company that only, didn't take it if the stent was within 2 years, might be a better price even a year later than, so, now that it's 2 years removed from that stent. So I'm checking in on their health stuff. What's going on? Do they need more coverage? Do they need less coverage? Do we need to maybe talk about, hey, we put you in term. Are you sure we shouldn't just get you something permanent? I might fish for what's your plans for retirement? Because I'm one of our retirement specialists too. So I know we got the life buttoned up. Maybe there's nothing, that they're good with retirement. They're happy with their thing. Maybe I just throw out, hey, if you ever have a family or friend, that could use some help double checking things, happy to do so free of charge, to your friends or family. Or maybe I'll throw out, hey, we give out gift cards, coffee on me if you ever refer somebody that, we could possibly help as well. Just something to entice a client that you already have to, hey, what else can I do for you? So on Fridays, I start doing that. And I start looking in and going, oh, wait a minute. Hey, we got you this. And, my favorite thing, you'll start finding some of these people and go, wait a minute. I could actually get them this company and they get 50,000 more coverage for the same price. And so now you get to call them and go, hey, you know how the insurance people sometimes always tell you your rate goes up every 6 months? Car insurance guys calling you, the rate's going up every 6 months. Sometimes I have to do that too. This is one of my favorite calls though. I get to call you and tell you, hey, I actually, remember I told you we work with about 30 different companies and, I was told you if something for some reason ever came along that could improve things, I'd let you know. That's one of these unique calls. I think I found something where we can get you X number of coverage more for the same price. How's that sound? Or I'll talk about it like it's almost like it's a cell phone plan. Hey, you qualify for a free upgrade at no additional charge. Just speaking, their language, not weird insurance language of just stuff that becomes a no-brainer. And if you look back on your clients a year later, you'll start to realize all of us have those kind of sales sitting there. So at the end of the week, if you're trying to squeeze one more sale in, what a great way to go and do it. And again, this is just how I do it. You can do these whenever. Maybe your Mondays are doing that. So you want to start the week off with a quick success. I like to close my week on feeling like something like that happens. But my point is have a schedule and then stay consistent working it and don't forget about it. Don't forget about your ghosted clients, all the witness protection people that got abducted by aliens and have won the lottery and moved to Bali. Okay, don't forget about those people. Don't forget about your current clients. Hey, just getting back with you. I remember last time we were talking about your wife Susie as well. John, did she ever end up getting any coverage? You still want me to help you get a quote on that? No problem. Let me relook into that for you again. There's so much extra sales made in those little things. And when you're burnt out, see, here's the key. You got to work the new leads and you got to put enough dials in. But as you get burnt out, have these little carrots that you get to go to where you squeeze them in. If all you do is try to work your current clients and you've been working the business, for a year and a half like me, I'm going to make no money. I got to go pump a whole bunch in. Maybe if I'm somebody like Hutch, who's been around, 15, 20 years and I got thousands of clients, maybe eventually you realize some people, that's all they do. They don't even have to talk to a bunch of new people. They just go to all the ones they've been helping for years and continue to make sure that they're taken care of and help their friends and their family and all that stuff. But you just got to have enough leads in the beginning to get that machine getting built up. Okay. The other big thing that I'll kind of close out on here, we'll wrap up a little early. If I could share anything, to my own agents, to all of Legacy Life, to anybody that wants to have success in life insurance or wants to have success being their own boss, being their own business owner, is you have got to keep the faucet on of your business. The faucet of your business is leads. Okay. So you start to figure out, hey, how many hours am I going to work? Okay. Well, how many dials do I need to make to go and have success? And now you got to know to keep the faucet on. Here's what I mean by that. I think it's very easy, and I get it, for people that maybe money's tight, or you're looking to supplement with this, or you're trying to make this go from part-time to full-time income. Every dollar counts, okay? We all don't make $500 million a month like Mike Guerra does. But there was a time where Mike was not having the success he's having. Not everybody always has success the way Nick does. We'd all love to get to that. But Nick wasn't always there. See, all these big success stories, they started in a place where they needed the money to pay rent too. Like they needed the money so they could make sure their car got fixed too. They needed the money so they could do XYZ with the bills that were piling up too. But here's the key. We have a way to go and print money. You buy the leads, you work the leads, you get money deposited, and you do it all over again. If you turn the faucet off and you don't have money for leads, you have no shot in continuing to have success in the business. So here's the key that if I can get anything across, especially to people working virtually, is this. If you spend $500 and then you get $1,000 deposited, how much money of that thousand are you allowed to go and spend? The answer is not $1,000. I understand $1,000 hit your bank account, but you do not. If you spend 500 leads, made $1,000, and then go spend all 1,000, you are right back in the same situation you were. If you go and spend $2,000 on leads and you make 10,000, but you go spend all 10,000, you are right back at the beginning all over again. You have got to leave the faucet on. You have to reinvest back into your business. If you buy a McDonald's franchise and then it makes $50,000, but you go spend all 50,000, you got no money to go buy more hamburgers and money to pay those employees to go flip those hamburgers, your business gets shut off, the lights turn off. You got to leave enough money to continue to keep the faucet on. Not every month, not every 2 weeks, you got to keep the faucet on every single week. So here's what I would encourage everybody on here. If you don't already have your schedule, figure out how many hours this week am I trying to work? And then do your best to stick to it. And when you get frustrated, because I promise you, Nick Greco gets hung up on and gets goober, weirdo, jackwagon people being rude to him, just like everybody else on this call does too, okay? I get annoyed daily, more than I should still. I have tried to work on personal development and controlling my anger and controlling all these things that frustrate me for the last 15 years of my adult life being a self-employed person. And it still bothers me. So when I get frustrated, I know all of you guys are getting frustrated, have these little things that help you still close out the day so you don't quit at 2 p.m. when you wanted to work at 5 because you got annoyed because one guy canceled, 2 guys didn't answer, and another one told you to F off. So when you get these little things, you stick into your schedule, have these things like following up with your ghosted people or these easier things that you can do following up with your old clients to keep you staying consistent. And please don't turn off your leads. You gotta keep the money flowing through. And when you have $1,000 that gets deposited, don't spend it all. Imagine if everybody the rest of October wouldn't, somehow you figured it out. You gotta pick up another job, you gotta drive Uber, you gotta go sell a bunch of your stuff. What if you didn't spend any of your money the rest of October on that you made from ARC deposits, and you took all of that, and that's now your lead budget into November and into December, and you just if everyone all of a sudden had $2,000 built up that they could go and use over and over and over again, that would be the key for a lot of us going from making 1,000 or 2,000 a month to 6,000 or 8,000 or 10,000 a month. You just have to have enough money to buy for leads. So as the money comes in, you did all that work, you know it works. Just keep enough to continue to buy next week's leads. Have enough to buy next month's leads before you go spend it on the other things. And then you can keep your faucet running at all times. So keep the schedule, keep enough money for leads, and staying consistent, both in buying leads, working the leads, and following up with the leads. I think that's the biggest things that we just have to, as virtual people, hold ourselves accountable to the best that we can. So hope that helps, guys. I told you I'll keep it short and sweet, under 30 minutes. We'll get this video recorded. Hopefully it helps. And I mean this with all sincerity. this business to me is one of the coolest businesses I've ever seen in my life. I love the life insurance business. We're helping people. We have endless people to talk to. And if we can just get into the right groove, the right consistency, the right system, the sky it truly is the limit. It's not just for the Mike Guerras and the Nick Greccos to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It can be any one of us if we stay consistent at it. So thanks for jumping on, guys. Hope that helps. Let's go have an amazing week. And really excited to see everybody in Orlando here in 2 weeks at our convention as well. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.